My first question would be like, what, in your professional opinion, is social anxiety if it were to be defined? That's
Definitely saw that one. That's a loaded question, obviously. Um, the best way I would define it from a, if I was talking with a client, maybe not clinically, but it's basically the inability to be able to function, whether it's with another person or environmentally, whether that's with another person environmentally or just in their own environment. Okay, so that would be the difference between, that would include like making a phone call. Okay, I might have social anxiety giving a phone call. So even though I'm talking to a physical phone object, um, if that person answers at the other end, I have to talk to them, and that might cause anxiety. And that's still a social element to it. But I could also be on the outside, even on the computer, with anxiousness, going, oh, I have to contact this person by email. And that still could be an anxiety too, even though it's not a direct physical contact socially with that person, if that makes sense. So,
yes.
yeah, so that's kind of the best way I can describe it in that way without going deeper. So,
All right. Okay. What are some common symptoms and telling signs of social anxiety?
definitely just anxiousness, as far as a lot of people feel tightness of chest, butterflies in the stomach, could even be headaches. It's just the inability to function within what we would call that social norm of people. So maybe not being able to make that phone call, not being able to go out in public and be with people, having, and ultimately that term goes back to isolating. So even when we look at what's called personality theory, whether a person traditionally from a, like, old school terminology, if someone's an introvert or extrovert, it doesn't matter. They just, when they're around people or a person, they have to hide, they have to run, they have to isolate themselves. And I do believe that there is healthy isolation, like maybe being contemplative, going for a hike in the forest, thinking about life, all that kind of stuff. But then there's the old man hermit, I'm going to get off my property, I'm going to get you. That's
Hmm.
unhealthy isolation.
Hmm.
That's someone who probably deals with a huge amount of social anxiety.
Yes. Okay. Okay. Under what circumstances might a person develop social anxiety?
I would say ultimately it's hurts and harms that have been done to the person. And that again could be whether it's through social media, whether it's through actual physical, so bullying, could be maybe parenting trauma. All right, there's a thing called ACEs, depending on how much adversity in their background they've had. Oftentimes, it doesn't surprise me, they deal with anxiety. So,
Hmm.
and that includes, again, introvert, extrovert. So,
All right. Okay.
yeah.
Okay. What are some ways that come to mind where social anxiety can worsen for a person who is already going through it?
Say that again.
What are some ways that come to your mind where social anxiety can worsen for a person who is already going through it?
Yeah. Well, continually doing what they're doing. Okay. So, inactivity is a huge factor. Sometimes just having to get up and to move forward is still an action. It's an event, it's a motion that can help begin to break that cycle of anxiety. But then the question is how do I actually get up and do that? You
Hmm.
know, and that's sometimes in my world, that's where counseling can come in. It's, as simple as maybe visualizing, maybe working through what that hurt is. What is that deeper primary emotion that that person's dealing with in order to go, oh, yeah, I'm actually just really scared. I'm going to be rejected by that person. Fair enough. All right. Those kind of concepts. Also, isolation again is a big, huge factor. I don't have friends, well, I kind of have friends. Oh, I got 350 people on Facebook, if they're on Facebook anymore.
Hmm.
Well, great. How many are actually close? If you were in trouble, if you were stuck on a desert island with one phone call, who could you actually call to help you? Nobody. Okay, you're isolated. You're double
Yes.
isolated, especially if you're on an island. So,
Yes. Yeah.
yeah.
All right. What are some factors that may drive a person to feel inferior to another person? Are there any common factors or do they vary for every individual?
I think that probably comes down to vulnerability and again, what past hurts have happened to someone. If I've been hurt by someone with someone in a beard with curly hair, I'm not talking about you, but maybe that might be something that, might cause me a little more anxiety to go, oh, I don't know if I can trust this person.
Yeah.
So again, it comes down to that trust, that relationship, and that if I have been hurt that way, I'm going to have anxiety about that. There's an old phrase that goes, once bitten, twice shy, and especially in today's age,
Hmm.
with, gosh, it depends too, with offense and hurts, all that stuff can stop someone from, again, being mobile in their activity with social connection. And instead, they become immobile in their social connection. Actually, Facebook should be called immobile. You know,
Hmm.
there, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to write that down for myself. That was a good one. The new immobile phone system.
Yeah. Yeah. But here I was speaking of feeling inferior to another person, like, okay, I'm lesser than this person. What
Yeah.
what might cause somebody to think of themselves that way?
In my world, it's called a therapeutic imbalance of power. Okay. Um, if you have an imbalance of power, another word for that is power differential. That can very easily create a social anxiety regarding someone feeling less than other. If I'm standing above you, if I'm, there's a thing like where handshakes, right? Depending on which way a handshake is done, can determine. I've literally had people who are insecure, but they've learned that if I go this way, it means I'm in control. Yeah. So, for example, like if I'm a corporate guy and I'm going to learn how to communicate with people, I want to be the one, because of my insecurity, to be the one in power. All right.
Yeah.
That's that power differential. So, I've literally met people who I know they think or maybe they are even in a authoritarian standpoint. Okay. They'll shake their hand this way rather than this way. That's more of a submissive act, right? Rather than an equal, neutral, middle handshake,
Hmm.
if that makes sense. So
Yes.
that's all about power differential.
Yeah.
And if someone is continually bombarded with that throughout their whole life, very easily they can view themselves as insignificant, not worthy. Even though everyone else tells them, man, you got so much skill and talent. Doesn't matter. If their core inner belief system believes that they're stupid, that they're no good, doesn't matter. You know, it could be as simple as just a childhood situation, being told or whatever happened to them in their child, going, you're not good, or too many expectations. All of that leads to consequences that we ultimately will find ways, Mohammed, to be able to, oh, what's the word I'm looking for? It's how we cope with it.
Yeah.
And this is the issue that I deal with in my work, all right, is that if someone's dealing with, let's say, inferiority complex, all right, what may have worked with them as a 7-year-old, a 14-year-old, man, that is just not working as a 24, 34, 40-year-old,
Yeah.
because it's a different world. It's a different game. What worked as 7-year-old, now, oh my gosh, now I'm entering in a world of divorce, my own kids, all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
That's fair. That's okay. What are your thoughts on social media websites and applications?
I view social media website and applications as neutral. However, based on humanity, all right, from a social perspective or a social sciences perspective, um, overall, what is meant for good has turned out to be very bad. There has been some very negative ramifications. However, there are some great value to it. I just think what we all perceived and thought things would be even 20 years ago to now, we're seeing a whole different level of consequence out of that. Better connection, better emails, texting. Now it's almost too much information that is
Yeah,
creating more disorganization and less communication, which is so ironic.
that's true. That's true. How important do you think they are for young people today, these social media websites and applications?
Uh, yeah, it has become the newest trend. It's become the newest thing to do. It's a part of life. There was the Facebook meme, about
Yeah.
3 years ago, where you have, back in my day, I read a book, and now you have this little 2-year-old going, hey, this isn't working. I'm swiping. What's going on? It's not working. No, you have to flip the page. And so it's just a change in how we are doing it. But I think because the rapidness of growth in technology that's happened in the last 20, 25 years, I think we haven't been able to adapt that to raising our kids in the way they
Hmm.
should go.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Do you believe it is possible to lead a successful life in today's world without having a social media account?
Yes, it is always possible,
Okay,
but definitely there are consequences of that action either way, whether you choose to have it or not have it.
of course.
I use my industry for itself. I personally know two counselors who have counseled for over 18 years, actually three. And no, two. I'll say two because the other one has kind of a website. But the other two have not had a website in 18 years that they've practiced, and they were overflowed. They had to turn people. I actually got clients from them because of it.
Hmm.
So I
Hmm.
know it's possible to do business and to conduct it, but that means actually talking with people, networking, meeting people, where it's way easier to send an email. Hey, do you want to do my business? Well, if not, it's very easy to say no.
Yes,
So yeah. So that's just one example, just as far as my thing. So yeah, it is possible.
of course. Okay. Okay. Do you think the excessive use of social media exacerbates feelings of incompetence, inferiority, self-consciousness, embarrassment, humiliation? Could you elaborate on that? If you think, what are your
I,
thoughts on that?
I think again, it's neutral. It's
Uh-huh.
how it's perceived and what is being projected, what that person is either allowing themselves to be projected with or what other people are projecting onto them. Because I could
Hmm.
say the same thing in just you and I talking if we were physically meeting each other. If you're coming down on me, you're no good. I'm a bully. I'm gonna beat you up because I have my own insecurity. Well, the cycle carries on, you
Yeah.
know. But I still have my own choice, and that's of course depending on your questioning. That's the advent in the work I do. The biggest issue as far as social media is either cyberbullying or internet pornography, which is a self-conscious choice to view stuff that people know shouldn't be viewed, but it creates then an addiction.
All right. All right. Do you think comparison culture, the culture of comparing your life with another person's, do you think it reinforces the idea that validation of someone's life can only be sought from the evaluation of others?
Yeah, it definitely can be. It can definitely reinforce that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. If you're using it to compare, absolutely. We as human beings, that's half the work I do is people comparing themselves to other people and not taking their own responsibility, their own initiative, what they need to deal with. It's easier to blame. So why not compare and check out other people's sites and go, oh, I'm way better than them, or oh wow, they're so much better than me. I suck. I need to do more posting. And that can create a feeding frenzy of insecurity.
Yes. Yes. That's fair. What sort of pressures, in your opinion, do these young people feel when they're making these sort of social media posts where they're showing off a certain image of themselves?
Yeah, that's just depending on where you want to go with that question. It's just that persona of image that they're trying to project themselves. And that can be good, that can be bad. Again, it's neutral. It's going to determine where that person's at in their life as to how that's going to be projected. I could easily be completely lying to you right now, but everything I've said, and this is not really a shirt and black jacket. Underneath it is I don't know, a black t-shirt with I hate myself on it, but you're not going to know that because of my image of professionalism that I'm presenting to you right now.
Of course, of course.
So
Yeah,
and it's the old fashioned rock star syndrome. Everyone looks good on the album cover. Everyone looks good on the whatever on their
yeah,
site. But
yeah.
what's their inside life like? That's what I'm more worried about than what
Yes,
the outside projection is,
of
because
course.
everyone could fake it. Everyone's got their Mercedes Benz and yet are super broke, you know? Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair. For someone with social anxiety, what type of effect do you think these images of projected perfection have on their emotional state?
It just reinforces it.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. It just reinforces a false belief system that if I don't do or look a certain way, I have to, again, another old fashioned term, I have to keep up with the Joneses. I
Mm-hmm.
have to keep up with everything and follow with that pattern of what everyone else is doing, rather than actually being an independent person who makes a choice in how I want to do what I want to do.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And again, what effect do you think this comparison culture has on a young person's sense of identity? And does it in any way feed their social anxiety? You did say that. You did answer that
Yeah.
already. But
Yeah.
in terms of if having an effect on their sense of identity, do you think it does have any effect?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It has an effect. Yeah.
How
Because
so?
again, it just reinforces it, or it
Okay.
has the potential to reinforce it. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Okay.